Hey, Noah. How are
Hi,
you?
buddy. I can hear you, dude.
You can
I'm
hear
good,
me.
man. I'm good. You know,
This is the worst advertisement for the AirPod Pro ever. So,
yeah, man. Yeah, mate. Definitely understand it. It's wild out there.
it's you should see there's spiders and kangaroos all over the streets around here, man.
What do you guys call bread? You don't call it toast. Don't you guys have a cooler name for it?
We'll call it toast once you put it in toaster. It's called toast
What do you call it
then.
before that? Just call it
Bread.
bread?
Bread. It's not called
Dough.
dough. It's not called dough. But hey, man, listen. Let me just do a quick intro for you. Just for the people that are
It,
listening.
Alex, for you, anything. I appreciate you being flexible. So we had a party. We just had well, do your intro and we can talk about the party I just went to.
Yeah, cool. So today I'm speaking with Noah Kagan. And if you don't know who he is, he's a marketing genius, like in my opinion. There aren't too many people in the world that I can actually learn from. And Noah is one of them. He's number 30 at Facebook. He's number 4 at Mint. And he's the founder of Sumo Group, which includes AppSumo, Sendfox, King Sumo, and probably the most successful product, which is sumo.com, which is basically a suite of products that like enables people to expand their email database and to drive action on their website. It's highly recommended. It's something that we use across all our own sites and for all of our clients as well. Plus, he has a podcast called Noah Kagan Presents, which is also highly, highly recommended. So welcome, Noah. Thanks for coming on this series.
Dude, I love seeing you. It's good to see you, man. It's been a little bit too long. You still look just like the profile photo.
I know. It's like because I shave my head and because I've got the same glasses, kind of always look the same, you know?
I know you like in 60, you're going to look like this. And you could be 60 now. I don't know. You could be 15.
I could be 15. I could be 60.
I'll join you. I'll take off my hat. I don't know if you're, but we'll do a bald thing. Is this going to be on video or is this just on an audio?
This is going to be on video as well. Yeah. So we're doing both.
Well, I apologize to all the people that want to see good looking men out there. You know, only got one of them on the down under side.
Well, you know, that bald, apparently it's in.
Bald
is some
in,
segments of the world.
It's kind of like when you have any issue, you try to, you know, we're a species that loves to defend ourselves. So when you're bald, for some reason, all these bald guys, what they all have to say is, it just means we have really high testosterone. And I was like, that's not true.
Yeah. Well, look, I don't know what the reason is. It's either high testosterone, it's low testosterone, it's high estrogen, low estrogen. I'm not sure. But what I do know is that, like, if you look at the Greek community, like all of the men on my father's side are bald. All the men on my mother's side are bald. Half the women on my mother's side are bald. Like, so my genes are going to be bald. So my son, he's going to be bald.
Dude.
Pretty much, you know?
You better date a bald woman. You gotta find some girl. You gotta date a horse. You just gotta go marry a horse, Alex. Someone with that thick mane of hair, you know?
Yeah, right. Well, that's probably the most interesting intro conversation we've probably had on this podcast. But look, this is a series where we're talking about actually how to market and how to run a business through COVID-19. You know, like this is it's unprecedented times, right? There's a lot of change happening right now. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of people that are stuck, you know, and people just don't know what to do right now. And like I was there for about 3 days. And then I was like, wow, actually, there's a lot of opportunity right now as well, you know? And, you know, like I've been seeing some of the content that was on the Instagram page, I think, just from you. Yeah, but we share similar kind of ideas and like some similar thoughts. And so I thought I would start by kind of asking you, like, how do you think this is, you know, like this COVID-19 pandemic, like how is this going to change or affect the business side of things, the business world? Let's start there.
Well, I think there's a few different things to consider. I think there's near-term business and long-term business, right? And so I think in the near term, way it affects businesses is really, I'm trying to think of a good analogy. It's like if you're a very hot person, it's very easy to get by. And then when you get a little uglier, maybe, you know, in your 40s, 50s, people are like, well, does this person have the skill? And so I think in terms of the business, it's the same thing. Where in the near term, that was a shitty joke analogy, but I think in the near
Hey,
term,
I'm the worst at like analogies. It's like a joke internally at Webprofits. Like I'm always like, it's like this, and I just fail so hardcore in any like analogy I make. So that was like an excellent one, like in my opinion.
Thank you, brother. No, so I think the thing that I would say is, I think in the near term, it basically is like, yo, are you critical or not? And I think some people are being misled and tricked into thinking that their businesses, we all do. We're like, oh, I'm important. My stuff is important. But I think what will happen in the next 12 to 18 months is that people are going to see how critical is their business. And so the reality with that is that if you're not critical, meaning if you're not oxygen, if you don't generate direct money, or you don't generate direct revenue, or your providers can't live without you, you're going to be screwed. I think in 18 to 24 months beyond, things will, regroup and we'll get back. And maybe it's longer than that. I don't know the exact time, but I think right now the opportunity is, how do you start doing things that are more critical? So if you're a shoe business, right? Ain't no one buying new shoes often. They might be buying it, and you might be 60%, 50% of your sale base. But what can you adjust because you can do manufacturing and you have an existing customer base, what can you transition into that your customer base might be excited about? And so could it be something with home entertainment? Could it be something with a community? Could it be something with like stars or entertainers with that stuff? And so I think there is an opportunity there, but probably not in the existing thing. And so you have to kind of start adjusting for that new future.
Yeah, right. I think because we're having quite a lot of conversations as well with potential clients and with clients and our conversations are trying to help companies find how they can be critical. How can they try to pivot, right? Like you could be part of the lucky, I say 5 to 10% of organizations. It's just like a random stat, like it's a random stat. It's not at all statistical, right? But there's a small percentage that because of the COVID-19 pandemic have seen like an increase in sales. That's going to be a small percentage, right? The home yoga routine sites, right? Like I think I've subscribed, right? But the Udemy's of the world, Zoom, like how happy would you be to be Zoom right now, right? There's going to be like some components that are probably increasing. I'd probably also say that sumo.com probably should be seeing an uptake right now because it's going to the digital side of things. But if you're not, how fast can you pivot, right? Because we're living in a world where it's not like a zero-sum game. It's like a negative-sum game right now, right? The world is not expanding. It's contracting. And so in that world, there's a fight. There's a fight for resources, right? And, from the business's perspective, right? It's like, cool, so how good are you? And are you good enough to win right now? And that's a challenge, I think, that like a lot of organizations are having to face, right? And so what would you say to those type of organizations?
How are you guys facing it? How are you guys facing it? Like, has your revenue changed? Did your customers respond? Like, what's going on with you guys?
Yeah, look, I think, so from Webprofits perspective, I mean, like all our travel and hospitality clients stopped. They stopped overnight, right? Like, because there's nobody traveling. And all of the restaurant event clients stopped because all the events have been shut down right now for 6 months, right? And so there are some companies that overnight that had like a 9-figure, 8-figure company, they basically had lost all their revenue overnight, right? Because all the events were canceled for 6 months. So all their revenue that was booked are basically gone, right? So we ourselves have pivoted to help organizations to get through COVID-19, right? We've created a product. The COVID-19 marketing response plan is like, actually, of course, how do you respond from a marketing and a business perspective to win right now, right? Because it's hard now. Like 2 months ago, everybody could kind of win, right? Now, not everybody can win. So how are you approaching, this challenge, right? I mean, in terms of your portfolio of companies, but what's happening with you, Noah?
I'm terrified. I'm scared, Alex. No,
are you?
Look,
I don't think you're. Are you?
Well, I think it depends on the day. You know, I mean, I think what I'm observing about my own emotions and about the people that I interact with and people I'm watching and people I'm just trying to talk with, I feel like more people are feeling what it's like to be an entrepreneur. That just everyone is feeling this way, which is the roller coaster of emotions.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And maybe that's just what it's like to be a human. I don't even know if it's an entrepreneur. And what that means is you wake up and you say, holy shit, I'm still fucking stuck at home today. Or, you know, like you guys, if you're an agency, holy shit, this client just canceled, or that deal we were about to close just canceled. And I've talked with a lot of people, and there's another group of these people who are like, hey, I just lost my job. And, yep. You know, I think with that being said, there's more drinking, there's more confusion, there's more lack of confidence, there's more anxiety, there's more uncertainty, more than ever. And I think we all need to figure out, you know, someone said this to me, someone said this in a text group last night. They're like, man, this COVID-19 thing happened and I've got no control. And I think that's bullshit. That's loser talk. It's the idea that, hey, I'm going to let everything external control me. And I'm not going to take any responsibility for the situation because it's not my fault and I got screwed. Whenever someone says screwed, I think that they're basically just straightforward saying it's not their responsibility. And ultimately, then I think all the certain winners in Australia, in Africa, in Israel, in China, wherever across the world, America, certain people, men and women, are going to stand up and say, well, what can I do about this? Because when this ends, I want to be somewhere better than where I am today.
Right.
And that inspires the hell out of me. I have a friend who lives in Thailand. He's an American dude. His name's Edmund. And Edmund is like, he has a hostel. He's got 12 of them, supposedly. I think he's more got like 6, but let's just say he has all 12 that he says he does.
Yep.
I like giving him shit for it. You know, his 12 hostels are almost empty.
Yeah. Well, it has to be empty right now.
Yeah, I have an Airbnb, for instance, as well. My Airbnb has been empty for almost 3 months.
Wow.
And so thank God it's not my main source of income.
Right.
But the question then is, what is Edmund doing? Is Edmund sitting on his ass blaming someone, the virus? Is he waiting for the government to come fix it? No. What Edmund is doing, which I respect and I admire about him, is that he's hustling. The real hustle, not the hustle where I here to inspire you. It's like, all right, I'm turning off the podcast. I'm turning off the YouTube. I'm turning off the news and the WhatsApp groups, the Instagram bullshit.
Yeah.
And I'm going out and hustling. So what he's doing is he emailed me a few days ago and I was so inspired by it. So what he said was he has started a food delivery business in Thailand. Right. That's number 1, a grocery delivery business. 2, people that are trying to get in and out of Thailand need visas. So they're helping people get visas. His wife, who is Thai, started doing mango sticky rice. So now they're delivering mango sticky rice around Thailand.
Love it.
And so they've done other things. So there's 2 ways to approach it, but I'm giving you some of the more tactical stuff. So grocery delivery, visa stuff.
Yep.
And this guy, he was making good money. Now he's teaching English. He's using, Preply.com. I think it's Preply.com and italki.com. He's renting out to the rooms in the hostel to whoever and whomever. He's got houses that he's trying to rent it out. And so I think the 2 ways to approach a situation is, how do you put a plan in place to take back control? And in everyone's plan, there's 2 components. And the components are, number 1, how do I get better defense? Which means, like, how do I secure up my foundation and make sure that I don't have to worry about money? And how do you not worry about money? Reduce all your costs.
Right.
And then how do you get offensive, man? Like, how do you go out to your clients? Like, I love what you just said. That's inspiring. You just said, how do I go to my clients? And I'll tell you a crazy story I just heard a few hours ago that I love. How do I go to my clients offensively and say, yo, you don't have the coronavirus marketing plan? Like, I've got a new plan for you. Or one thing my friend just said that I thought was so amazing. He is going to the cruise lines. Like, everyone thinks the cruise lines are screwed. He's going to the cruise lines and saying, hey, cruise lines, how do we get your customers even more than before?
Yeah.
And how do we actually do the marketing for you, and approaching the people who are like, shit, I got no. And so it's not that maybe it won't work, maybe it will, but I was very inspired that everyone's running away and he's running towards.
Yeah. And I think that point there exactly is the way to win right now, I believe. I think there's a lot of fear, right? And there's a lot of people saying, oh, let's just wait. And I'm like, well, yeah, you can wait, but what if it takes longer than 2 weeks? What if it takes longer than 4 weeks? What if it takes longer than 3 months? The waiting is just going to be like an inevitable death, to the business, right? Like, that's potentially the wrong word to use right now, but it's like, it's kind of the end of the business. And so proactive action, just to be proactive, right? And to take action is critical right now. And, I think this separates the real businesses from the rest. Like, it's like, like before you mentioned the entrepreneur life, right? This is just what it is to be an entrepreneur. Like, this is just kind of more pronounced right now because there's such upheaval in the world. But this is exactly the entrepreneur's life, right? And maybe there's some businesses out there that started at the beginning of the growth cycle and they just rode the growth, right? And, that's easier to grow. It's way harder to be an entrepreneur when things are not growing, just when like it's survival of the fittest, right? Because then you actually have to be better. You can't just be the same, but cheaper. You actually have to be better, like in every, across the board. And I think it's easy now to be better because everyone else is so stuck. Just taking action, like at this point, like at least for the next a couple of weeks at least, that action like is going to give you an advantage, But I did ask you before, like, how are you approaching the portfolio like at the moment? In terms of like your businesses, because obviously like you've got a few, and I'm sure like you advise on a bunch as well. So how are you approaching it right now?
So, I would say the thing that we've done is the first thing we did is defense, and I'll be very actionable.
Yeah.
So the first thing we did on defense is we did a thing called a 30-5 plan. And so what that means exactly is we said, let's say our revenue is $100,000 a month.
Yep.
We assume that our revenue is going to instantly go down to $70,000. So 30% reduction.
Right.
And so if that goes down, the second thing is, well, how do we still make at least 5% profit? So 30 reduction, 5% profit. So if that happens, what do we need to change in our business to be able to be there right now? Because we're not. We would actually be, losing a lot of money. So what we did is we went through every single thing to see what we have to change. And so I'll highlight it because I think sometimes people want to get some, inspiration or things kind of
definitely
trickled in there. So what we did is we paused all commissions. We canceled all of our lunches. We reduced our server spending. We reduced our ad spending. We paused a lot of our contractors. We asked certain people, unfortunately, to take a little bit of a pay reduction temporarily. We pulled a lot of our affiliate marketing. We reduced some of the Facebook, Google marketing. And so we ended up cutting a significant amount of money to get to that 30-5 plan. And we did it immediately. And I think the key thing here is a lot of people in this situation need a plan to reduce anxiety, increase control, and take pro-action. Take charge of the situation instead of blaming and waiting for the government to hopefully do something. For the people down under where you live, Rupert Murdoch is not going to save you. Okay.
Yeah.
People are not going to be helping you. Like, you have to take responsibility for yourself. I don't want to complain. I don't want to blame anyone. So reduce your costs across the board aggressively and
quickly.
Immediately. Don't wait for it to happen to someone else. Don't wait for them to hopefully fix you or they can come help you with that stuff. And so we did that pretty much not right away, but we started talking about it. And so we set up that, and we set up a plan B, which is like our red button, don't even want to talk about it plan if things get really bad. And so number one, we just reduced all our costs. We negotiated our costs, paused things. And so we were able to reduce, it ended up being a few $100,000 of monthly spend. And then the second component, which is almost as critical, is how do you take advantage of this opportunity? And this, to me, is an amazing opportunity for people. And it's not that I'm here to sell snake oil. It's not there that I have nothing to even convince people to go do. But I think for the people that can go into the fear and go into the storm and go into the uncertainty, it's a great chance for them to actually create something. Because to me, I think if you can win in a downtime, you're going to be victorious in the uptime. And so in terms of the things that we've done, we looked across our portfolio and we said, all right, number one, where's ROI? So where can we put more people or more money that's going to give us a positive return? And so we've moved people around to different groups within our businesses.
Yep.
Number two, we said, how do we aggressively go? Well, if people are running away, how do we go into the storm? So We've changed and added an affiliate program within Sendfox. So Sendfox is just email marketing for content creators. We added an affiliate program, which is blowing up because it's saying, hey, you lost your job. Hey, you have an audience. Hey, you want to just go make some money. Now you can actually go sell this product, which is really affordable. And it's great for you and great for us and great for all the people you're selling it to. So that's one thing. We've went from 2 articles a week on appsumo.com to 9. And it's not about just outputting more poop.
Right.
But it's saying, hey, people now more than ever are looking for certainty.
Yeah.
That's actually what everyone's looking to.
Yeah.
They're consuming a lot, right? Everyone's at home. I saw an interesting stat around that is that more people are consuming on their desktop than on their mobile. And why? Because they're not on the go anymore. They're stuck. And while they're stuck and while they're home, some people are going to take advantage of this. They're going to say, I don't want to sit around and just waste these 6 months. I'm going to waste this. At the end of 6 months, I'm going to say, I didn't waste it. Most people are 80%, 90% are. They're going to say, I hope someone gives me a handout. So, for the people that are, we're trying to be supportive and work with them. And so started an affiliate program, created more content. We've gone out and increased our ad spend. So we pulled some of it back to see what's actually profitable. And then we've gone back out and said, all right, this is profitable. We're going to go even more into this ad spend. We've gone into sponsorships. So a lot of these influencers and marketers and business owners that are saying, man, my ad revenue dried up, my spend dried up. We're going to them and say, hey, we'll sponsor you while no one else will because we can get a better price.
Yeah.
And now we're going to have these people who are loyal to us and we're loyal to them for a very, very long term. With AppSumo, it's also trying new things. I think this is, in terms of the aggressiveness and offensiveness, when you have these limitations, Alex, this is the time to try the stuff you've never tried before. This is the time that you said, hey, I've been thinking about that, but it's never been the right time. That's now. That is this instant. And so for us, it's trying to promote courses, trying to promote like Zoom backgrounds. That's starting to become a thing. Starting to figure out, halldrop.com, which is, there's all these physical products that people are trying to sell and they're struggling. If they're not, if they're not like, prep food or gym equipment, they're struggling. And so we created Hall Drop, HAUL drop.com to say, all right, well, how do we help promote you? And so I think the key thing here is people are still spending money. People are still living. People are still eating. People are still watching shows. People are still entertaining. They're Zooming and, FaceTiming, watching whatever it is. And so how do you be a part of that wave? Right. And so a few days ago, 2 days ago, people were saying, no, let's start a business. You're saying things are easy and things are amazing. It's easy to talk about it. It's easy to listen to this stuff and do nothing. And that's the stuff that upsets me. I want the doers out there. The doers come and join me. The watchers go home. So if you're a doer, one of the things I did was I said, all right, well, let me start a business in an hour. And you can go on YouTube. I just put it up there. I started a business in an hour. And how I did it, I didn't do magic. I didn't do ads. I didn't do a landing page. I didn't spend any money. I went out and reached out to some people just like anyone can. I didn't use an email list. I didn't do any big promotion. I said, hey, does anyone need anything delivered to their house? Second thing I said is, hey, does anyone need any gym equipment? Because that's something that I need. I think you should always solve your own problems first. And the third thing, I cold called, Instagram messaged, and emailed a bunch of closed stores and said, hey, your store's closed. Why don't I help you get online for free? And maybe if you make some sales, you can hit me, you can, compensate me. And I started getting some responses. And in the hour of doing this channel and the show on YouTube, you can find it at youtube.com/okdork. I ended up actually making about $620 in revenue.
Great.
Profit was around $40. And what I learned from that is, number one, making money can be hard. It's hard. Number two is that making money is that you have to find what people really want. And people are still spending. People are still breathing. But it's more about what's essential now versus bullshit stuff. Like no one's buying new shoes. No one's buying more socks. But they're spending on board games. They're spending on online ads, which is, what your agency can help a lot of people. They're spending on, hey, my website that was getting 10%, maybe we can get 20% conversion. And so I think you just have to be, am I close to helping them make money or am I close to helping them save a lot of money? And, if you can go and do that, you're going to be successful now and later, man.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. There's quite a lot of parts there which I'd love to unpack. I think just quickly from a sponsorship perspective, like could you just expand on just what you mean by sponsorship? Like you sponsored?
Let me just show you.
Yeah, can you tell me what you mean by? And no, the second part was the Zoom backgrounds. Like what? That sounds cool. That's the first time I heard about that.
Yeah, so people are starting to create a bunch of Zoom backgrounds. You should sell those Zoom backgrounds. And you could actually create, and so I think what I'm realizing, or what I've realized, is that there are new entrepreneurs. There's how many millions of people are unemployed now? Let's say 30 million, 20 million.
There's a lot.
That means that's also a chance for those 30 million people to be their new bosses. Guess what? You don't have to kiss anyone's ass ever again and be your own boss. And so I think what is everyone doing? Everyone's on Zoom. Right. Everyone's watching Netflix. Everyone's doing board games. Everyone's trying to work out at home. Be a part of the tidal waves and you're going to make a lot of money.
Yep.
And so this is an example. You can see my screen. This is a guy named Harry Dry. He runs marketingexamples.com. This guy is the future. He's me 20 years ago, but better than me. And so I reached out to him and I was like, yo, I want you to get on Sendfox. I'm going to give it to you completely for free. I'm going to see if I can pay you some money, and whatever I can do for you, I'm going to do for you. And because one, I believe in this guy. I think he's phenomenal. But two, in the next few years, this guy's going to be the next generation. And it's kind of like what Dr. Dre did with Eminem.
Yeah.
This is my Eminem. I mean, and I'm looking for a bunch of these guys because this guy's kind of he's tapped into what I'm not. And I think especially as you get older, you get disconnected from the new because you're kind of old and you're in your own ways and you're comfortable. And so you have to stay uncomfortable and find the people that are doing it and being around them. And so anyways, this is the guy that I've kind of been in touch with. And so I think we're going to end up probably giving a few $100 a month. It doesn't have to be a lot.
Yep.
And we're doing that with Haul Drop. We're doing it with Sendfox. We're doing it with AppSumo. We're at AppSumo. They're calling them athletes. People that talk about apps and they're called athletes. So anyways,
nice.
I think that's part one. What was the second question you were talking about?
Zoom backgrounds. Like, what's his Zoom background thing?
Yeah. I mean, I think part there is that in Zoom, you can have a Zoom background. So let me show you where I'm at the office. So here's me. This is at our Sumo bar. So now I'm at the Sumo bar. This is our bar at our office.
Yeah, sure.
There's an opportunity where you can create this. As if we're going to be using Zoom for the next 50 years. This is a pretty sizable market. And the thing I think about starting businesses is it's never about where it starts. It's about where it ends. And the biggest thing is momentum. So just get going, find your first customer, see what they need, then get them that thing. And then you can keep iterating and evolving through that. I think a lot of people wait around talking about it, thinking about it, reading about it, listening about it, watching about it, and not being about it. And that's ultimately what's going to matter at the end of the day.
Yeah, right. I think what's interesting, like just on that point there is the part about having conversations, I think critical, especially from the B2B perspective, right? You're seeing so many companies that are doing like webinars right now, right? Now it's a bit of like it could be seen like almost as like a bit of a joke, but because there's so many that's actually happening right now. But the CPMs on Facebook are super low. The conversion is super high if the topic is right. Now, you may have like a business that actually that can't support that basically it can't sell its services right now. But to create like a webinar and to get the registrations and to ask them their biggest challenge right now, you can go out now and get thousands of people opting in for a couple dollars each. And now your sales team, they can pick up the phone and just have conversations. And then because of that, you can actually create a service or like a pivot or something like that. Because the hardest thing I think for everyone is trying to guess what people want, right? It's really hard to guess what people want right now. Yeah, there's like the obvious stuff that's at home and stuff, but from like a B2B perspective, you need that insight. And I think, like an awesome way is just to pick up the phone. Like, and if you don't have customers, you can start a bunch of conversations just by hosting like a webinar or doing some kind of like, you could create like a lead magnet or something like that. But yeah, it's around having the conversations right now. Like, and that's how we kind of like developed the COVID-19, the COVID-19 marketing response plan, was because we were having so many conversations where everyone's like, I'm stuck. I don't know what to say. I'm scared to sell. I'm scared of how I am going to come across, like I'm going to be seen as opportunistic or stuff like that. And so we're like, okay, there's a real problem. And it's a real problem. So look, I do think that kind of those conversations are super, super important. From an entrepreneur.
No, I simply agree. I mean, I think that, I was telling someone this earlier, and I truly believe it is, I think that attention right now, attention is worth more than money.
Attention is worth more than money. Just expand on that if you can. Just like,
I mean, think about this, right? Like what you just said. What did you say? You said that, everyone's doing a webinar, everyone's doing a YouTube live, everyone is trying to go crazy on like, oh shit, maybe our company's not important, but let's try to do something else. So I think, if you have customers, you need to keep your customers as close as possible. Go talk to every single one of them, get them on a live chat, call them up, whatever you need to do. And I think in terms of attention is that like we're distracted all day. We have a lot of uncertainty. We have a lot of people. If you're a boss like yourself who has people that work at your company, you have a lot of, responsibilities. And so I think at the end of the day, it's like if you have customers and if you're trying to grow something for the future, it's how do you have attention of quality and trust so that people are looking to you for information? And
yeah, exactly.
They're looking to you for that certainty, which, I'm doing my best to share the things that I'm learning. And I think part of that is doing the things that I think everybody else kind of needs, like if you could give people stuff that they want, like people will show up.
And that's the part I think, and this is the part where I think, like in terms of the advice that we're giving our clients, like, and how kind of like in terms of our perspective and how we approach kind of the content side of things, like in terms of, these style videos, email marketing and stuff, is kind of to say, hey, we're all in this together and here's what we're figuring out and we're sharing and we're kind of, we're trying to lead the way like that. And I think just from a positioning perspective, to be seen as the thought leader is the strongest in terms of that market, but it's also the most challenging because you actually have to have something that people actually want to listen to, right? And like, again, this comes back to survival of the fittest. Like, are you good enough to win right now? Because unfortunately, not everybody can win. Yeah. Like all the companies that we're speaking with, we can help them, but they need to be good enough. Their service needs to be good enough. Their founders need to be good enough. The team needs to be good enough. They have to be able to sell. Like, I think today more than ever, the sales role is critically important because we're trying to sell people to take action. It's not even against a competitor anymore. Like, we're trying to sell right now, continue marketing, because everyone's just like stuck. Oh, I don't know what to do. I'm going to stop everything, right? And so the companies that can sell, that can market, and that can create a product, a pivot, that's the ones that can survive this thing and they can thrive, as part of this challenge that we're in.
It's tough, man. It's easy to kind of, I've seen a lot of people say this, and almost every single person I've seen, almost every single person who's listening or will listen, they've had some days where it's tough.
Oh, horrible.
And so it's tough. I'm sure sure me, I've had it, I have it pretty frequently. And so I think given that reality, it's how do I start building up some confidence easily that I can start.
Oh my God, you're rich.
I'm rich in toilet paper. It's toilet paper king here. So no, but I think what it is with that is, how do you just get the momentum going? How do you get out of the train station? Yeah. How do you start and if anything, it just helps someone for free. And that's a great way to start building up some of this confidence in people who it's been shook. It's been uncertain. It's been scary. And I think some people are going to feel really confident and go out and ultimately in a few years, if not sooner, have a lot of success for it.
Yeah, for sure. So how do you see the digital landscape changing as a result of this pandemic?
I have a lot of strong opinions about that, but what do you think?
I'm interviewing you, but I'm happy to share some thoughts about it. But I'm interested to hear what you say. I think, I'll start it then. I'm thinking, it's more important than ever to be digital. I think, like, in terms of advertising, all the out-of-home stuff at the moment is just gone because no one's out of their home. So all the billboards, like all the everything outside, like all the bus advertising, all the taxi advertising, like all the advertising's gone. I think if you aren't online right now, no one's going to find you. No one's going to see the shop on the road, right? Like, they're not going to see, like, there's no foot traffic anymore. It's all kind of virtual traffic, right? I think there's going to be more, what's the word? Consolidation in Facebook and Google. They're just going to, be between them, like an Amazon, that's pretty much going to be the world that everyone experiences, right? Like, that's going to be the locked environments. Now, I think, what we've been seeing in the last 2 weeks is email marketing performance is actually up. So like it's been going down slowly over the years, but what we're seeing, it's increasing. Now, it's good to be good emails. Like I think I've unsubscribed over the last 2 weeks to probably about 400 companies that have just sent me just horrible, like, we're here, we're still operating. Like, if I want to give you money, I'm sure you'd take my money. Like, seriously, like, please don't tell me that, like, you're still there with nothing else, or just to stay safe. Like, seriously, I'm staying safe, right? Like, it's cool. You know what I mean?
You know what it is with that? Is that everyone is worried about themselves.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, a fried pickle. Do they have fried pickles in Australia?
I mean, so you're in Texas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Texas has got, I'm sure there's some. I haven't seen them. I haven't even heard of them. But you guys like frying stuff. You fry butter, right? You have
they
some
do.
deep fried butter.
Fried butter, fried Oreos, all this stuff. So in terms of tech and all this stuff, I think at the end of the day, we've talked about essentialism and what's important. I think the thing that I really like to look at is very clear to me, which is what am I certain about for the future?
Yeah.
So, Alex, do you know when this whole virus shit's going to end? And if you say you do, you're full of shit, but tell me if you do.
No, I don't. But I do think it's longer than anyone expects it to be, personally. Like, I do think it's longer, but I don't know at all. No.
I don't know.
I'm prepared that it's not going to change for a while. That's how I'm approaching it.
I think that's a smart approach. And I think the thing that you have to do then is say, what am I certain of? What am I certain of? Am I certain that my agency clients might pull back? Yes. Am I certain that people are going to spend a little bit less? Yes. Are people going to spend more on different things? Yes. And there's a bunch of other these questions. Are more people going to be at home thinking that they should start their own business or that they could try to do something eventually? Yeah, for sure. So the question then is, how do you be in the right place so when that tidal wave happens, you're on your surfboard just cashing in? And I think all you have to think about is, what do you know that you feel unique about, that you know, that you can then take action on? So if you think more people are going to be on selling e-commerce, then you should go and help Shopify stores. If you think digital is bigger, you should help AppSumo, go be an affiliate, or go get your product in AppSumo, or go sell something digital on Gumroad maybe.
Yeah.
And I think if you could be aware of what you're certain of and act on it, that's where the bets happen and that's where the rewards happen. And so for me, I think more people are going to try to start or learn how to grow online businesses. So if you can sell information, if you can sell tools, or you could be one of the people starting an online business, you're going to be successful, or helping people transition to an online business. I think more of these collaboration tools are going to be big. So I don't know which part of it. There's Miro, there's there's Tandem, there's Zoom. There's a lot coming, and there's a lot that are already there.
Yep.
And so at the end of the day, instead of me telling, everyone's got to think for themselves, but what do you believe the future will be? And then how do you say, this is the stuff I believe, let me go act on it?
Interesting. Just quickly, just like on the SaaS side of things, right? No, just on the SaaS side of things, because you have SaaS. You know a lot of people that have SaaS as well, like quite a lot of SaaS founders and stuff. How do you see SaaS going in a time like this? Because obviously, like in the past 5 or 6, 7 years, the amount of SaaS products has expanded so much. There's so much SaaS out there. But how do you see the SaaS world performing in this environment?
Well, I'll just tell you what I've seen. SaaS is like a dangerous treadmill where you're kind of chasing and the treadmill never ends. And so if you're trying to get new customers and some customers cancel, you're like running and and you're just like, holy shit, I'm on a treadmill still. It's hard to get off this thing, versus trying to feel like you're building an asset or something that you're not sweating. And so I'm seeing a lot of success from businesses that don't have a subscription, because when you are worried about money, the first thing you do is look at what's subscriptions. And so within that subscription, you have to say, well, am I part of their critical subscriptions or non-critical subscriptions? And if you're in the non-critical, you are screwed. And you better figure out how you can take your customer base, which I think is an opportunity, because if you have existing customers, you have an opportunity to help them do something else. And I think a lot of the non-critical businesses need to figure out how to adjust that very quickly, because I've heard churn is very bad. And if it's not bad now, it's going to get worse. And I think there's a lot of people building products in foreign countries that are very low cost of development and low cost of maintenance where they don't need to have a subscription. And I think Jeff Bezos said it very well, which is your margin is my opportunity. And so if you're having a subscription because, oh, that was the big thing and everyone, now I have predictable income, someone will come and eat your shit. That not literally, figuratively. So
No,
I think you need to think with that. And so we've seen that with AppSumo. AppSumo is growing because two reasons. One, AppSumo is the number one site for software deals. People want to save money. So they're saying, where can I save money? And two, people are saying, well, what subscriptions do I have that I can now find an alternative that's, if not better, and I only pay one time? And if you have a subscription, I would be scared. I think SaaS companies are going to start dying very slowly. Unless you're hosting, you're maybe Shopify or you help generate revenue, or ultimately email marketing. But basically, are you helping them directly attributable generate more money or even reduce costs? Let me give you another example. We have a SaaS product called Sendfox, which is a Mailchimp alternative. And Mailchimp and some of these other guys like ConvertKit and some of these other guys, I think are screwed. Why? Because you're paying 200, 400, 500, 600, 1,000 a month. And maybe you're making money, maybe you're not, but you're like, hold on, with Sendfox or some of these other companies, I think there's a few other providers out there that are similar. I can pay $50 one time and never have to pay again. Yeah, maybe I don't need to keep paying these guys. It's the most expensive thing. And so I think that's happening across the board and everything's SaaS. So I think there's going to be an evolution or an awakening in these businesses. So I would be scared to be in SaaS right now, unless you're a hosting provider. And even hosting, like, people are starting to look for alternatives. So
definitely,
if you are in those positions, I would try to say, how do I get my customers very close to me during this kind of wild time?
Right. I just a quick one. Just because, I've seen Sendfox, but I haven't just gone into it yet. We have a lot of clients who start off on Mailchimp, but now they've just started charging money for everything, and they're more expensive than a lot of the proper email marketing suites out there. Like if you've got 10, 20,000 subscribers in there. So how does kind of Sendfox compare? So this is like the time to kind of pitch it maybe, but I'm just kind of interested, and I think that everyone on the call as well is interested as well. Like, how does Sendfox compare to Mailchimp in terms of the functionality?
So whenever you create any product, I think it's more about what makes you unique.
Yep.
I think that's what it is at the end of the day. It's like, if you're spending, and this is what I realized in like 20 years of doing internet business world,
right, is
that every time I focus on the competitor, I don't do well. And every time I just say, hey, what is it about this thing that I want to do for myself that is unique for me, that's about us, and I believe that's beneficial for a certain type of people, we do really well. And
so what does Sendfox do then? Yeah.
Yeah, so Sendfox is stupid, basic email marketing for content creators. So if you're not looking to spend a lot of money and you want to email your audience once a week, if not a few times a week, you should use another provider. But what I wanted personally was I want to be able to create emails really easily. So give me ideas for emails, which we're launching pretty soon. Don't charge me prices. You're charging ridiculous prices. It doesn't make any sense to me. And then just make it simple. Like, I don't need to do my Facebook ads and all these other things. I just want to send communication to people that I want, that are my active audience. And I think that's kind of where we started differentiating, which is we also don't care about your email list size. Everyone talks about email list size. What I actually think is more important than your email list size is, of that email list, who cares? Who is your active audience? And so we're really pushing hard now on how do we help you really develop and find and develop your active audience? And that's what matters.
Okay.
So I would say that's probably what's becoming the one of the differentiators among many for Sendfox.
So Sendfox.com, right? It's Sendfox.com, right?
Yeah, I think our main differentiator. Yeah, sorry to cut you off, man.
No. You think the main?
No, I'd say originally our main development is it's simpler and it's cheaper. It's more affordable.
And how hard is it to transition from Mailchimp to Sendfox? Is it just export the list, import the list?
So we built an API tool. So you just hit connect to Mailchimp and we automatically import everything in. Here's what's actually really interesting about that. For the past year, we've had that. We've really struggled getting people to import their list. Why? Because they're like, you guys are $50 versus, $50 a month. We're $50 once versus $50 a month. It didn't matter. But now that people are a little bit more cautious with their money, people are swarming over to Sendfox. And so we've been fortunate that we believe that something more affordable made more sense. And then now we're starting to say, how do we increase our differentiation to make a product that's even higher desirability for these people?
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And Webprofits, if you're listening, which you all should be listening, let's try Sendfox out for some clients that are looking to save some money for sure. So that sounds pretty cool. And I know, like, I've got some side ventures that I'll be transitioning away from Mailchimp because I just actually had a question just from our co-founder saying, should we just cancel Mailchimp right now? Because like the shop's closed, like, yeah, we should, and we should move to Sendfox. So that's cool.
Dude, well, actually, I'll help you. I'll introduce you to Stephanie on our team, or Samantha, excuse me. And she'll just move everything over for you for free. You don't even worry about it.
Perfect. That sounds great. And then because we use all the Sumo bars and stuff, I'm assuming it just integrates straight into Sumo so that the subscriptions go straight into Sendfox. Is that right?
Yeah. So we have a connection with Sendfox. So if you're using sumo.com, you can easily just one-click connect with Sendfox.
And if you're not using sumo.com, you should be using sumo.com. So just go there right now.
Dude, I love you, Alex, man. It's good to see your face. It's been a few years since we've hung out in person.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, for sure.
You're doing okay though. How are you mentally and physically and all your stuff?
Look, it's been a difficult month. Like I was actually like kind of like, because like I've been basically like I've started actually email marketing our database every single day, just talking about our experience and kind of helping organizations kind of just to get through this thing. And it's challenging. But like yesterday, like I wrote like an email just saying 23 days ago, the company was in the office still, right? Like we were still in the office. Man, that looks good, man, that thing. But I was like, 3 weeks ago, like was a whole different world, right? It was such a different like world. And so it's been challenging to pivot this fast. We've changed all our marketing. We've changed our service offering. We've gone out to every single client. We've launched like a bunch of webinars. We've changed our whole content strategy. We've had to make some hard decisions internally. It's been pretty stressful. This week was a positive week. Last week, like as in, we've got a system now to scale up in terms of some lead generation, in terms of a content strategy, in terms of a product that we can sell. 3 weeks ago, we were like irrelevant,
Did you feel like what's the difference between now and 3 weeks ago?
We were selling stuff 3 weeks ago that people wanted. 22 days ago, they didn't want it anymore. Oh, sorry, 19 days ago, they didn't want it anymore, right? And so it's like, it's overnight. You've got like a company that like is like, it's relatively like in demand. There's a system in place. There's like a business that's operating. There's a status quo. And then overnight, that status quo is gone. And then you need to pivot everything internally to be relevant, right? Because overnight, the leads stop.
So what were you selling before, and then what have you started selling differently? And here's the thing I wonder too, is how do you make sure you don't overcorrect?
Yeah, sure. Well, before we were selling kind of, it was called fluid marketing, right? And it's basically outsourced. It's like an outsourced team that can support your growth, right? And so, we'd do all of the channels, the funnels, and all that type of stuff. And basically, we'd sell it to specific audiences. Yeah, we'd sell consulting, and we would sell growth, and we would sell kind of the channel specific services, and we'd sell creative services and all that type of stuff, right? And then overnight, no one wants that anymore. They're just in survival mode. And so we had conversations across every client, and we understood that everyone's stuck. Everyone's stuck in marketing, right? So kind of the back end is the same. We've still got the growth teams. We've still got the approach that we can help organizations scale up. But now we've just changed the message. We've changed the service. We've changed the first part. We've changed actually how we can help an organization. The team's the same. right? The process is the same. The application is different, right? The marketing is different. We changed our whole website literally in 3 days across 3 regions, right? We changed our service offering. Like we created like a service, we expanded it out, we outlined it all, and we executed it across, basically all our clients in a couple of weeks, right? So we just changed everything instantly, right? That's massive stress internally, right? But that was done in 2 weeks. And that's exactly the service that we're offering now to companies out there that are stuck. Until we did that, we were like in this place where we stopped having the right kind of conversations externally, right? You said we didn't have any leads, right? We didn't have something that we could sell, because the thing that we could sell that wasn't talking to the need of now. And so that's a really scary place to be, because you've still got all your staff, you've still got like a bunch of overheads. Yeah, we basically started off like in the defense mode, right? We cut like as much as we could without stopping the engine, right? But then we quickly were like, cool, so how do we be offensive right now, right? Like, and how do we attack, right? And that took a couple of weeks. But now we've done that, settling, and now we're getting leads. There's a bunch of conversations. The marketing is hitting, like it's on point. And we're there to help. And there's an actual need that we're solving. It's not like before, because we were like trying to create the need to fill it, right? It's like, yeah, you could do marketing, and spend, say, $500 on Facebook ads with someone. But you really kind of have to have a team that's experienced across all the channels and a funnel approach, because the world is shifted. It's like an education process to sell like your service. Now, there's no education process. It's like there's a need, and basically we've created something that can fill it. And so that's why I'm saying it's now positive again. Like, it's still very hard times, right? But it's still, there's something that is expansive, not contraction, like contracting, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean,
I feel way better now because of it, right? Like, because I get scared when there's nothing to grow. I'm like, there's only one way then, is to shrink. And I hate shrinking. I love growth. Sorry, I cut you off now.
No, you're great, man. No, it's good to hear. I think there's a balance of not overcorrecting. Yeah, like you don't want to go and like, all right, we're going to only sell, coronavirus kits, right? Because in a few years, people probably won't need coronavirus kits. But I think the reality is putting a plan in place and taking decisive action, which is what you've done. So good for you, man.
Look, I think, look on that point, in terms of overcorrecting, I think there's a reality that like quite a lot of organizations are going to have to face is like, if no one is buying your stuff, you need to overcorrect as much as possible, because the conversation I'm having is that, hey, guess what? Like, if it all kind of becomes okay, you can just reactivate all your old campaigns again. That's super easy to do. You just make them all live, done. And then it's back again, right? But if it doesn't, what are you going to do? So any final points, Noah? Because like we've got about 5 minutes left. Like I don't want to be talking.
There's a lot of final points, man.
Oh no, we can keep talking if you want, man. But like I'm trying to keep it efficient for you, because I know you're super busy, and I really appreciate it. Like the time today, You
know what's funny? No, it's always great to see you, and I always make time for you.
Yeah.
It's a while. I think everyone's at home. I think one of the most amazing things about coronavirus, and I talked about this with my fiance, who's also eating fried chicken. How's the fried chicken?
You're making me want to go out and get some fried chicken, man. I'm seeing you like sucking the bones. I'm like,
So I think one of the things that's amazing about coronavirus, and I don't know how long it's going to last. No one does yet. I mean, maybe some government officials, maybe some scientists, but personally, I don't. And so the reality with that is, given that we don't know how long it's going to last, what are people doing about it, right? I don't know how long it's going to last. And so ultimately, I'm kind of very excited to be like, who's going to stand up? Right. Who's going to say, hey, I want to go and do something about this? And I think that's going to be a really exciting time for those people who can face a little discomfort, can face a little uncertainty, go out and start some new stuff, see where they can help people. There's a lot of people that need help right now that are scared. So that part gets me motivated as hell, man. I'm excited about it because I love seeing that. It inspires me. And I think what people need to figure out is like throughout their day, because we're all going to have some up and down days, is in these up and down days, figure out how do I maximize putting myself in the place, whether I have a day job, whether I'm an employee, whether I'm a teammate, whether I'm the boss, that the majority of my day is around people or doing things that give me that energy.
Yeah, awesome. That's awesome. Cool, Noah. Well, mate, thank you so much for your time today.
Dude, you're my mate. No, appreciate you having me. I love talking to you. I'll talk anytime. You just let me know.
Yeah, no, for sure. Now, again, everyone who's listening, who's not on sumo.com, you should go there right now, install it actually on your website. You'll just be building emails if you get any traffic at all. And yeah, check out sendfox.com as well. And if you want some good deals on software, then make sure to check appsumo.com as well. You know,
dude, you're the best. I mean, I think in terms of email right now is that if you have a business or you want to start a business, get your customers as close to you as possible and talk to them as often as they want to hear from you. So if it's via sendfox.com and you email them, or it's via phone call, or if it's via like Skype or whatever it is, you know, go and figure out what inspires you and can tap into what you want to really be doing right now. This is a great chance. That's what I was saying earlier, is that I think that this is the great equalizer of the world.
Yeah.
Because all these athletes and all these celebrities and all these famous fucking people are sitting in their house doing nothing. And this is a chance for anyone out there who said, you know, like, Noah, you weren't born as good looking as Tom Hanks. I mean, I think I'm pretty good looking to Tom Hanks, but let's just say I'm not. This is a great equalizer. This is a chance for anyone who's been an underdog like me to rise up and take over. And so I'm recruiting. I'm recruiting all the underdogs to come with.
And how do people get in touch with you if they want to?
They don't need to. What they
go
need
to
do
okdork.com and subscribe to the newsletter, right?
Alex.
It's an awesome newsletter, by the way, as well. Like in terms of marketing advice and kind of alternate ways of thinking smart, I would highly recommend okdork.com. There's some fantastic information in there too. Like I said because I don't really talk up that many people because I don't really learn from that many people. But I get like a bunch of fantastic ideas from you, mate. So,
Alex,
man.
you're always so positive. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I'm just feeling everything going on, and I feel like, you know, if I have to end with something, it's that if right now I think I have so much more energy and more confidence and more optimism than I've ever had in my life. And if I have more than that right now, then I need to be giving it to whoever I can do and whoever I can help. And if you have a little bit less and you got fired or you're a retail or whatever it is you're struggling, there's a chance that you need to just ask for some help. Yeah. Ask Alex, ask me.
Exactly.
There's a way. Everyone is down to help right now. Everyone's equal. And there's a chance where we can all help each other.
All right, Noah, mate, thanks so much. Fantastic talking, man. Yeah, cool, brother. Yeah, same to you, man. And we'll chat soon, bro.
See ya. Have a good night.
You too, man. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Growth Manifesto podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please head on over to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. For more episodes, please visit growthmanifesto.com/podcast.